Tara, welcome to Dallas in the Empower Series. Give it up.
Thank you. Okay, no secret here, and I say this every time, all the time, and I'll say it proudly. I am in love with, well, a lot of things in this room, but Clifton, number one, and the Empower Series, number two. And so I'm always really, really happy to be here. I'm going to move around, but I learned that my clicker works. Hello, everybody online. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday morning. Okay, my name is Tara Alderete. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our organization, because when we talk about money, credit, things like that, typically what we see is people are like, I'm good, I'm fine. And then as they're filing out of the room, they're like, how could we call? How could we connect? What's your number? So what we do at MMI is a bunch of different stuff. So I think about it like financial building blocks. So whether it's creating a budget, making a plan to get out of debt, savings, we're a HUD intermediary, so the education you need to purchase a home, save a home, all those things we do. And the other thing that we do is a disaster recovery program. So it's called Project Porch Light. If you find yourself in a natural disaster area, you can reach out to us at MMI. We'll assign a navigator to you for 18 months or longer if you need it, to help you work through FEMA paperwork, keep your money straight, and we see that credit scores stay level when we do things like that. So before we start talking, I always like to let folks know what we do at MMI, so that if you know somebody or you're thinking, hey, I would like to learn a little bit more, you can reach out to us at moneymanagement.org and learn more about our services. Okay? All right. So we have a lot to talk about today. We are an intimate group, which I love so much, so please feel free to jump in, join, share. I think especially when we're talking about money, we all have different experiences, different things we bring to the table, and the more that we're able to talk about it, the less taboo of a topic it becomes.
And there's a mic here so that people online can hear you. Raise your hand and I will get up with my bad back and get you the mic as soon as. There you go. Why don't you do that? Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. What impacts your credit score, and what can you do to impact your credit score? When you look at your credit report, what are those score blockers? What are the things that are like, nope, you're right where you are, right? We're going to take a look at your debt picture with all its lovely details. We're going to talk about the difference between snowball and avalanche method of getting out of debt and what makes sense for you, real life budgeting essentials, and leveraging tools and support. So we have a lot to cover. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, when you see these words, credit and debt, what do you think? Share it, shout it out, get ready to run with your microphone.
Credit is what you're building. Positive debt. That's what I think of.
Okay.
Because you could use credit positively, and you can basically, credit is money that you don't have that you're using of somebody else's that you're basically borrowing against on a credit card with interest.
Okay.
Right. But if you leverage them correctly, then you can use that positive debt to help leverage your finances.
So these words conjure good feelings for you.
Well, credit does. Debt, on the other side,
Not so much.
not so much, because debt is what I owe that I couldn't pay back, or what I am owing, like a mortgage debt that I'm responsible for to pay back, and I'm obligated to, and it's my duty, or else it's going to affect my credit score.
Okay.
My snap reaction when I saw it was pain.
Pain.
And history. And even though I'm not where I was that caused that, it still has the scarring.
Yep.
Of when I see it. It's so for me, pain.
Pain.
For me, I just kind of went numb. I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of talking about this. That was me personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we need to. That's why I'm here. But that was my reaction.
Yeah. So we often have a negative reaction to these words, right? And it's interesting, and this is a topic that I think is becoming more and more, brought to the forefront of conversation, this sort of psychology behind money. And it's like any other relationship. when you think about the relationships in your life, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, your child, whatever, we sort of bring our past experiences, our baggage, things like that. We never consider money as a relationship, but we bring a lot of stuff to the table when it comes to money. What we had, what we didn't have, what we learned, what we didn't learn, what we couldn't talk about, what we, all those things from childhood right on through adulthood. And it's still something we fail to talk about. We're getting better. I just read this statistic. There are 26 states now that require financial education before you can graduate high school. And that's a great number. But it's 26. Like, it's half, right? So we have to talk about it. So where we want to be, though, is that when someone says credit and debt, we're like, yeah, right? We're feeling good about it. So how do we get there? We have to shift our mindset, right? It's all about the way we approach this, the way we look at this. How can this become a tool that helps me instead of hurts me? So it's shifting our mindset. So think about, for a moment, I'm going to be quiet for a minute and allow you to think about what being debt-free looks like for you. And then I'm going to ask you to share. So picture this in your mind. You're debt-free. What's your life like? Those of you online, you can put in the chat or share with us virtually what your life looks like debt-free. Who would like to share?
Well, at first, to be honest, it was like, what does it even look like? And then I thought, okay, just play with it, play with the imagination. So I went further, and it was like, I feel like freer and softer in my body, number one. Number two, I feel more joyful, not because of anything external, but because there's less internal stress. And so because of that, that means I get to do more for other people, which I love doing, which most of us do, if we think about it. And I get to travel and serve my community more because I'm less worried about this crazy stuff in my head.
You said a word that I love, softer. I feel softer.
Well, that's actually my word for the year. Instead of a goal, I give myself a word for the year. That's my word for the year.
I like it.
I feel recalibrated. That's my word for the year is recalibrated. I feel in control, that I can make and do anything that I want to do, build my business, help other people, but I feel in control of what I can and can't do in my life.
Softer, recalibrated, in control. So,
I'll be the odd one here. I'll be the odd one here. I'm okay with some debt because I want to drive a certain type of car. I want to live a certain lifestyle. That's not to mean that I'm going to go totally broke. I do have, I want money in the bank also, but for me, unless I can't go to Macy's, then I'm okay. I mean, I'm not okay with that, but some debt I really am okay with. I don't need to be totally debt-free to feel like I'm living a certain lifestyle.
You know what? I love that perspective because there is such a thing as good debt, right? And I think this mindset shift puts us in a place where we can have this conversation today and take those feelings with us, feeling softer, feeling in control, feeling recalibrated, and sort of have this conversation in a better space with the knowledge that, you know what, I feel good about being okay with some debt. Like, I understand that this can be a tool that helps me, right? So I think that's the first thing, taking with us, sort of changing the way we feel and taking that attitude with us. Thinking about the difference between opportunities and roadblocks, right? What if we were to look at our debt as an opportunity instead of a roadblock? What if we were to look at reducing debt as an opportunity to get to a place where we're softer, where we're more in control, where we're more calibrated? This is powerful. It's not a roadblock. And then it's about adopting that growth mindset. So taking those things with you in everything that you do. Practicing gratitude, right? This shifts everything. What are you thankful for? What are your blessings? Focus on that. Visualizing success. So when you looked at your life debt-free, that's your goal. That's where you're going to get. And then embracing patience. The power of allowing time to do what time does is incredible. So understanding that it is just like everything else, a journey, and enjoying the journey. So there are some tangible things that we can do to help shift our mindset. And the first is, knowledge is power. Get in the know. You have to know what your picture is before you can change it or recolor it, right? So we'll talk about that. And then sort of this golden rule of money, spend less than you make. Something we're all taught, and it's hard to do in real life. We can't do that if we are not in the know. Setting clear, actionable goals. We already did that this morning in a way. I want to be debt-free. I want to feel in control. Turning bad habits good. What are those bad financial habits that we've built and we just sort of feel ourselves doing them, sometimes on automatic? Changing those things. Leveraging the tools and support around you. The fact that you are here today, tuning in online, having this conversation is huge. It's monumental. There are so many tools and resources and stories out there if we just look, shift our mindset, say, hey, I'm going to learn something today. This is going to be a great day, and I'm going to build my knowledge. Take advantage of that, and then celebrate your wins in smart, budget-friendly ways. But celebrate your wins, right? Because we're embracing patience. This is a journey. We got to keep ourselves motivated. That's how we get here. So what I'd like us to do is some positive affirmations, right? And so I've got the links on here because I lean on some friends to help, right? So thegoodpositive.com has some 100, actually, positive debt reduction affirmations. And I chose some of the ones I liked the best. So what I'd like us to do is just take a pen, a piece of paper, the backside of your calendar for the following months, and choose or think of the 3 affirmations that you like the most. And write those down so that you can take them with you into your debt-free journey. Yeah.
See?
This is where we learn whether or not we need glasses.
Oh yeah, I know.
Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, you pull it up on the phone or something.
So we're taking our picture, we're taking our money mindset, we're taking our positive feelings, we're adding our positive affirmations, and repeat these to yourselves, right? Whether you put them on your mirror in your bathroom, does anybody do positive affirmations? Wherever you put these so that you remember to do them each day, whether you have a gratitude journal or whatever, put your 3 in there because it makes a difference. What you speak into the universe is powerful. It is powerful in what it manifests back for you. Let's talk about knowledge. First is the credit score. So everybody has a phone in here, right? Okay, and online. So what we're going to do first, so throughout this presentation, I've got QR codes to different sites that I'm going to ask you to go to. So this is sort of interactive. I'm going to ask you to go, I'm going to ask you to gather information, things like that. The first thing we have to know is our credit score. This number drives so many things. We all know what a credit score is, but what is our credit score made up of and how do we address it? So payoffstrategieswealth.com/free if you're not able to access the QR code. But I think you are. Yep. I trust them. I did this. I would never ask you to do something if it wasn't a resource that we partnered with and I trusted and I didn't do myself. But I like this because there are other, Credit Karma and things like that will give you your credit score, but it's not your official score. And what I learned from our friends at FICO is that that score can vary from your official score up to 90 points in either direction. So when we're thinking about our benchmark, this is the one most widely used by lenders. This kind of gives us a good idea of where we are. So I'm going to continue to talk, but you guys do what you do to get that free credit score. And you can return to that anytime and see where you are. Remember, we're embracing patience. This takes time to change, right? But there are 5 components that make up your credit score. And the good thing is, well, let's start with the bad news. The bad news is there's not any one thing. It's not like X plus Y equals Z. Credit scores are built on an algorithm and they're applied to each person differently. So I might do something different than Clifton and we get a different result, right? Or the same things and get a different result. But once you understand what your credit score is made up of, it becomes a whole lot easier to affect that score and manage it. So the biggest thing, of course, is your payment history, making payments regularly, consistently on time. The next thing is the amount owed to all creditors. Are you maxed out? That's going to lower your score. 15% is how long you've had your credit history. So if you're closing accounts, maybe all other things being equal, you close the one you've had the shortest amount of time. And then 10% each is amount of new credit and types of credit in use. The one thing that I like to point out to people though, because I always say this, if we've met, you've probably heard me say this. When I think about financial wellness, I think about a puzzle, right? And when you're doing a puzzle, what's the first thing you look for? The edge pieces in the corners. Our financial life is the same way. There are anchors in our financial life, like our corner and edge pieces. Our budget is one of them. It's going to be very difficult for us to affect anything else in our financial life if we don't have a solid, workable budget. So 65% of our overall credit score is directly tied to our budget. Have we created a budget that allows us to live within our means, not charge what we can't afford to pay off each month in full, and make our regular payments on time? If we do that, 65% of our credit score is taken care of. How do you get this credit report, you ask? You scan the QR code on screen. So this will take you to annualcreditreport.com. This is where we as consumers can get a free copy of our official credit report. One of the good things that came out of COVID, besides all of our newfound love of nature, is that we used to be able as consumers to get one copy from each of the credit reporting agencies like once a year. In some states it was twice. We can actually do this now weekly, and it's free. So this is your official report. This is how you get it. You can scan the QR code. This is a bit of a lengthier process. You put your information in. I'm not going to ask you to do it now, but I am going to ask you, if you haven't been here before, to scan this and bookmark the page. You can also request it in writing, or you can call. The other piece of knowledge we need is what to do with this credit report once we have it. Because who in here has looked at a credit report before? Yeah, the very first time I was like heart in stomach. I got nothing, right? But there are factors on each credit report. One is personal identification information, and you're looking at these things with an eye for what's accurate and what's hurting me. What do I need to address? These are our score blockers. These are the things that are preventing us from getting where we want to be, right? Personal information. You would be shocked and surprised about how often this is wrong. Okay, I have a social experiment. If I've met you, you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to ask you to keep it going. So, gosh, I don't even know, 20-something years now, I've been in the field of financial education in some form or fashion. Started asking this question. Who in here has, and you online, who in here has looked at their credit report in the last 12 months? Nice. Those of you who have seen your credit report, was there something on there that wasn't yours or wasn't accurate? Has this happened to you before? My girls. So, this is my social experiment. I know what the statistics and the data say. I've maybe twice in my life asked this question and not had somebody in a room say, nope, happened to me, erroneous information. This tells me, my own personal observation, this happens so much more than we believe it does, right? You gotta look at your credit report and make sure that information's accurate. So are you? The next is alerts and validation. So these would be like ID alerts, ID theft alerts, things like that. Consumer statements are things you can add on your credit report. You were the victim of identity theft, you can put that on there. You also, and this is probably the thing you want to pay the closest attention to, your creditor account information and credit history. So this is going to show who you owe, what your balance is, what your payment history has been, and there are codes here, right? Is it a joint account? Is it an individual? Am I an authorized user? You want to make sure this is accurate because this is that 35% of your credit score. This is a score blocker. If this information is wrong, you definitely want to take action to address it. But if this information is not wrong, but it's not fantastic, we want to take action to address that too. Big score blocker. Public record information is going to tell us whether there are liens, bankruptcies, things like that. Collection agency account information is exactly what it sounds like. You've got accounts and collections. The details are going to be there. And then inquiries are the times that we've asked for credit. And so you've heard people say, if you apply for credit, it's going to hurt your score. It affects your score. It's 10% of your overall score. But if you are shopping for a house or shopping for a car and you're looking within a period of like 30 days, that's one inquiry. So you definitely do want to be smart about it, shop and compare, get the best interest rate for you. If you're going to that myfico.com/free and checking your credit, this is not affecting your credit score at all, okay? So you want to make sure that you're identifying these score blockers, and then what do you do when there are things that are wrong? This is the information and the steps that you need, what's going to happen when you dispute something on your credit report. So take a screenshot, save it online, but essentially when you find something that's not right, you want to go through the process of disputing it. You can do this online, and they'll check with your creditors, is it accurate, is it not, and then we move from there. If there's information that they find not to be accurate, it comes off your credit report. This is really important. A lot of times, we may engage with organizations that are charging us to fix our credit, a lot of money. In some cases, they're just disputing everything over and 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 hoping for the best. Because if the creditor doesn't respond in a timely manner, that item is supposed to come off your credit report. You can and should dispute erroneous information on your own. You should never pay somebody for this, right? The next piece of knowledge we need is, what does our debt picture look like? What are the colors of our debt picture? Here's how we get it. So if you have this knowledge, you can start to jot this down today. If you don't, I'm going to ask you to do this. You want to make sure that you list out on paper or type on your computer, your phone, or whatever. The power of looking at something is huge. You might ask me how much debt I have, and I'm like, pretty good, it's manageable, low. I write it down, and I'm like, oh, Macy's, you and me break up, right? Whatever the case may be. But you're going to list all your creditors. Next to that, you're going to put your balance to the penny, what you owe today, your interest rate, your minimum monthly payment, and it may be a good idea to put your due date in there just for your knowledge. Now you've got this list of your debt, and then you want to add it all up. What is my total unsecured debt balance? What is the average interest rate that I'm paying? And what is my total minimum payment coming out of my budget every single month for debt? Just minimum payments. We all know how long it takes us if we make just minimum payments. How long to pay off your debt, usually, on average? Oh, yeah? Hold your hearts. Hold your hearts. Closer to 30. Closer to 30. If we're just making minimum payments.
Oh, yeah. Because of interest rates.
And they also lower the minimums.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're barely covering that interest with a 29, 30, 32% interest rate, okay? So now you've got a list of all your debts. Now you can decide the best way to tackle this debt. We've heard these terms, snowball and avalanche. Here's the difference. It's really just the order in which you choose to repay these debts. The snowball theory says that we tackle those accounts with the lowest balance first. There's no right or wrong here. It's whatever gives you the best momentum, because this is all about momentum. It is seeing those wins, feeling good about it, and then moving faster toward our goal, because we all know that. Like, we have a win and we're like, ooh, like I could do this, right? That's the snowball method. So you've already got your debt list. You just reorder it, if that's how you want to pay, from order of lowest balance to highest, which means that we're going to tackle this account first because it's kind of low-hanging fruit, right? And then we're going to move on from there. The avalanche method says the opposite thing. We're going to tackle the account with the highest interest rate first because that's the one that's costing us the most money, right? Whatever makes you feel better is how you're going to order this debt. So once you've got all your debts listed, you're going to change the order around and decide how you want to tackle them and pay them down. You're never going to change this amount, $337.65, unless you go to your budget and you say, all right, budget, let's work together so I can find some additional dollars to achieve my debt-free goal and get myself to a place of clarity even faster. I go to my budget, I say, okay, I'm going to let God do what he wants to do with my hair. I have $50 extra a month. This is my rapid recovery amplifier. You don't have to have one of those, but if you do, it's going to get you out of debt faster. So what you're going to do with either of these methods is you're going to say, okay, in my budget, when I create this budget, I'm building $387.65 in my budget for debt reduction. But ooh, I changed some things around, I have an extra $50. So now in my budget, I've built in $387.65, not $337. $387.65. That number is not going to change until you get out of debt. This is how this works, because it works against sort of our human nature. This is where we have to bring that mind shift in. Instead of paying the minimum amount due on this first debt that we owe, right, the $25, we're going to take that $50 from our hair and we're going to add it to the $25, which means that we're paying $75 on this first debt. We're continuing to pay the minimum on all the others, right? This debt is going to be paid off a lot faster. And if we flip the way we do this and we say, I'm going to tackle the lowest balance first, and at $75 a month, this one's going to be paid off pretty quickly. This is where it becomes difficult, because our human nature is to say, yes, sir, this electronics store, done. I have $75 extra. Hair salon, here I come. But we're not going to get out of debt that way. So what we do is we take our $75 and we add it to this debt, right? So now this is gone. This is paid off. We are now paying $90.64 instead of $15.64 every month on this debt. How much faster is that debt going to be paid off, right? That's paid off. We take that $90.64 and we add it to this debt. Now we're in a situation where our budget hasn't changed. $387.65 is what we've allocated for debt reduction. But look how much we're making a dent, Because if we can pay $227.34 on this, and our minimum, we're like doubling that minimum payment almost, knocking it out. And then we have the final debt on our list, right? And so we, I clearly can't go back. Hold, please. Okay. We're allocating all of our money to that final debt, and we're paid out of debt quick. So I want to show you this summary and comparison. And this shows you sort of the payoff time with our amplifier and without. But this is staggering, right? Look at these numbers. If we have, with the examples we used, we're making minimum payments only, the total interest that we will pay is about $22,000. And look how long it's taken us to pay off that debt. All those soft feelings just went away. I can see it in your face. It's gross. If I continue to have a conversation with God about what my hair looks like, and I don't allocate that additional $50, but I can stick to my plan, and I can continue to pay that debt like I said I was going to, I can actually be paid off in 76 months and less than $10,000 in interest. But if I add that $50, I'm paid off in less than 60 months. And this is my total interest. It's huge.
What does that RR stand for?
Rapid reduction. So that's our little debt amplifier. This is the $50 we found.
Okay, so what's the difference between that second line and the third line? Because I guess I don't understand the difference. Oh, is the third line after you pay that one off, then it keeps rolling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the next piece of knowledge we need is a budget, right? So we've taken a look at our debt plan. We have to make a budget that meets our goal. Yeah.
So back on the other slide, that's even if you're doing the minimums, if you don't add additional debt to the card.
Oh, my man, I need you in my life. Yes. I failed to say that to you, didn't I? That's only if you don't add additional debt to the card. Remember, we're shifting our mindset, right? Like, we're changing behaviors here. Because if we are doing this debt reduction plan and we're out there buying shoes, no, right? But if we create a budget and we spend less than we make and we budget in for those things we want in addition to our debt reduction, this is how we succeed. So here's some very quick real-life budgeting essentials, because you got to have a budget. Easy. Number one, what is your net income? What exactly do you take home that you can count on consistently every single month? You write that down. Next step, what are your real expenses? This is kind of hard, because I could come up with what I think my expenses are. This is where pen and paper or computer phone helps us. When we see it, it's a different picture, right? What are our real expenses? Those things we only pay every 6 months, what are those if we break them down? Take the amount and divide it by 12 and put it into a monthly budget. How much do we really pay for apps and subscriptions? Do we not pay attention to that $4.99 charge, or do we, right? Like, we really have to get into the nitty-gritty and identify what those expenses are. That might mean tracking our expenses for a period of time to see where our money goes. Once we have an accurate picture of what we make and what we spend, it's math, right? We subtract this number from this number and we say, okay, I don't have enough. I got to make some changes. I got to either increase my income or decrease my expenses, and you know how that story goes. Or I have a budget surplus. But we have a new mindset. So with that budget surplus, we're adding it to our debt reduction plan, and we're getting out of debt even faster. We got a goal. Does anybody want to take a guess at how long it takes for a budget to stick? So you've never had a budget before, you come in here, you're inspired, you make a budget. How long before that budget actually starts to work and flow?
I'm going to guess 1 year because I suck at budgets so far.
Okay.
Old mindset.
I was thinking 60 to 90 days.
Okay. So, never.
Al says never. Al says never.
So if anybody were to meet these two beautiful ladies in the middle, they would hit it on the nose. 6 months is what it takes for a budget to stick. So don't be discouraged. We have got a new mindset. We have a goal. We feel good about it. We're thinking about things in a different way. And when we have something that's there, it's not a roadblock. It's an opportunity. So 6 months. Be soft on yourself, okay? You can scan this QR code online. It's going to take you to a virtual budget template. And this is a great tool you can use if you don't have a tracking mechanism for your budget right now. It's very, very easy. You just put your stuff in there. And then you can adjust. You can press buttons at the bottom. You can see where you are. You can get spending and saving recommendations. You can do all that stuff. But I have a present for you. You can call us at MMI, and if you choose to come back and hang out with us in April, I'm going to force you to do this, right? You can call us at MMI, or you can go online and you can connect with our counselors. You can work with a professional counselor to create a budget free. They will sit with you and say, what is your income? What are your expenses? Here's your budget, and they'll email it to you. But they'll also say, well, here are some resources you might not have thought of. Here are some recommendations. Here's how you can get to that goal faster. This is what your credit report says. Let's take a look at how we can reduce your debt. It's a fantastic thing, and it's free. Do it. Even if you have a budget, do it. Because sometimes somebody that's not us or connected to us can see things that we miss. Anybody in here have a life partner? Bring them. Bring them, right? It's one of the things that we do not talk about so often with the people that we love. I love to say this, right? Hey, baby, what's your credit score? Right? We should ask that question. My name's Tara. What's your credit score? Oh, I gotta go.
Are all the services at MMI free?
Excellent question. There are some services that there is a nominal fee for. One of them is a debt reduction plan. So this is and we will talk more about this in one of these follow-up sessions, but it's a debt management plan, DMP. The way a debt management plan works is it's consolidation but without a loan. So we negotiate lower interest rates with creditors. You make one payment to MMI, we disperse monthly payments and give you a statement. You're paid out of debt in 3 to 5 years. There is an administrative monthly fee for that. It is very low. It's capped by state, and it's also based on your ability to pay it. So I think right now the average fee for something like that is, I want to say $29 a month, something like that. It's cheap. The amount of money that you pay in interest is astronomical, or that you save in interest is astronomical. And depending on your income and where you are on the scale, we've got some clients that pay nothing. So, great question. Hey, I'm going to give you guys a shameless plug, by the way. So MMI has a podcast called Long Story Short. The S in short is a $. And these are real MMI clients that have paid off inspiring amounts of debt. And they come on and they share their story. I got into $90,000 of unsecured debt because X happened. And then they share their story. I'm getting chills. They pay off their debt. And the very last question we ask them is the first one I asked you today. What does it look like for you now that you're debt free? Oh my God, right? It's I'm going to Disneyland. But the thing that we hear, we hear people say all these beautiful things. I can give more to my community. I've taught a lesson to my kids. They're seeing me for who I am, not burdened with all this stress, right? It's incredible. You can do it.
One more question.
Yes.
For Samuel. Are there organizations that, for instance, create a relationship with you all to where, if we want to send all our employees through, have you all done that with an organization?
We do partner with organizations.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
we do.
So they would get maybe an organizational price?
Yep. Great question. And if you, great question. And if you would like to know more about that, you can just visit our website, moneymanagement.org. You can reach out to me. I'll connect you with the right people. But we do that. It's an employment benefit. Yep. Okay. The next piece of information we need is, what are our goals? We all know as SMART goals, right? Our goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And we also have to think about what we want to achieve along the road. What are my goals in 2 years? Where do I really see myself? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Where do I see myself beyond that? Once we can visualize, God bless you, our goals and where we see ourselves, we can put a price to them and we can budget for it. So we can map these out. It looks just like this little treasure map, right? What do you want to achieve? Think about that. Once you know what you want to achieve, how much money is that going to take? Okay. If I divide that by 12 and I want to achieve this goal in 1 year, that's how much it's going to cost me per month. Oh, it's a little expensive. So maybe this goal will be achieved in 2 years, right? And what needs to be done to achieve this goal? If I want to get here and pay off my debt, it means that I have to make my coffee at home. It means that I have to have a conversation with my kids about how much they can spend and what they can and can't have, right? It means that I have to be frugal about where I shop and how I shop and just make different choices. When the holidays come around, I got to make different choices. And then write these goals down, right? So what is your number one priority? What is the goal? What is the cost? What is the target date? How long? How much have you already saved? What do you need to save each month? And you build this into your budget. And then we take that mindset shift and we change our habits and we change our life. So our friends at Chase have a list of the 7 things, the 7 top bad money habits, right? Overspending. If you can relate to any of these, just blink your eyes. Breathe. Overspending, not creating a budget, not building an emergency fund. Oh, when you make a budget, this is a priority item, by the way. Maxing out our credit cards, not optimizing savings accounts. I'm saving money and I don't really need it today. Why am I saving it in a regular account and not a high interest account, right? Why am I earning 0.5% of interest instead of 4%? Go online, look at your options. Bankrate.com I love, right? But maximizing your savings. I'm saving for retirement. Why am I not doing that in an IRA? Why am I not maxing out my company match, right? Not setting savings goals and making late payments. These are the top 7 things people do that are bad. But we have a different mindset, so we're replacing them. Forget all this nonsense. We're going to spend less than we make. We're going to build a realistic monthly budget. We're going to make regular saving a priority, maybe even automate it. We're going to only charge what we can pay in full because we have a goal. Make our savings work for us. Again, bankrate.com. Maximize where you put your money. We're going to set clear, actionable goals, and we're going to make those payments on time consistently. And if something happens, we are not going to see this as a failure or something that we're never going to get over. We're going to say, you know what? This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to revisit my budget, change what I'm doing, and do something different. That's all it is, sir.
So I have a question from Sandy. If you use a credit association and pay the monthly fee, will the process freeze your credit? Does that make any sense?
If you use a credit association and pay the monthly fee, will it freeze your credit?
Yeah, if you use a credit association and pay the monthly fee, will the process freeze your credit? I guess, do we have a question as to what she means by credit association? That's what we would need.
What I will tell you is there are some plans, like our debt management plan, the accounts you choose to include, those accounts are closed. Because again, it's habits and mindset shifts. We're not going to pay out of debt if those accounts are open and we're charging more debt. Freezing your credit is something a little bit different. Like this is something we can do as consumers on our own. Like we can freeze our credit report. So even if we want to apply for credit, we have to enter a code and sort of unfreeze it for a period of time, apply, and then we freeze it again. It basically protects us from fraud and identity theft, and ourselves in some cases. Okay, so leveraging tools and support, right? So taking advantage of the tools and support that is out there is, like I said earlier, it's monumental, right? It's one of the most important things we can do. One of the things I told you I'm in love with the Empower series, Clifton, right? Like, one of the things I love so much about the Empower series is that, like, this power of networking. When you come to an Empower series event in person, it is like if you weren't friends before, you're leaving with new friends and new family members. Yes, there are places, like, people come back, right? Like, it is a community. It is powerful. It is networking. There are resources here. And when we start to have this conversation, things change. I have to say this to you because I think about this very often when I think about generational wealth, right? What's generational wealth? I know, we're getting our steps in.
Generational wealth is wealth that you're able to leave beyond your lifetime.
That's right. Passing it on, right? We know what generational wealth is. Anybody want to take a guess at the percentage of that wealth that is lost in the first generation?
45%.
90. 90. I want to. So I leave, my baby's name is Jude. He's going to love that I'm sharing this online. My baby's name is Jude. I leave all of my wealth that I have amassed in my lifetime to Jude. Jude doesn't have any financial education, really. And so 90% of what I left him is gone by the time his kids come along.
I was thinking if you had it, they would have it. Like, you would pass on. If you're going to take the time to build generational wealth, you would think that you would leverage your children in the process, which is why I said 45%, because they're still young and they're going to do things.
Yes.
But I didn't think they'll spend almost all of it.
This is our mindset shift, right?
Funnily enough, you know how because it's not taught and you're doing your part, then that's the function of, shouldn't that be the component in-house? If I'm leaving this to you,
Yes.
you should learn these steps.
Yes.
If you don't learn these steps, there's restrictions to
Yes.
what you get. The goldfish will get it and not you.
Yes.
Or you have to say, here are the parameters to your reward. Or the treasure map is here, but these are the parameters to go to the treasure.
Yes. So if I could override the universe and the internet and create a version and a definition of generational wealth on my own, it would be generational wealth is what happens at our kitchen table. Like the conversations we have with our family and our kids and our friends, and then in our community, right? And in our churches, and in our schools, and in our neighborhoods, and we watch that grow. That is generational wealth, because we can pass down tangible things all we want. As my friend said, if you don't have the knowledge, the willpower to keep that and pass that on, you lose it. That's generational wealth. That is what we're building here. Yeah.
There was a conversation we were having at our church about typically when you're doing some type of estate planning, it's usually just divided equally among the kids versus the idea of which kid can handle it versus I'm just going to be fair and split it all out to all the children. So,
right.
And then so a lot of it gets
wasted. When we think about the attitudes and feelings that are associated with money in many cases, that's typically a source of it's a sore spot, right? Like, but if we're having these conversations early on, and I know that my brother is much more savvy than I am, and it's not a bad thing, and I've learned to say to him, hey, what do you think about that? And we have open dialogue, then it's not weird. Like the weird is taken out from the very beginning, right? These are the conversations we should have. So these are our tools. These are our resources. These are some tangible ones. Moneymanagement.org, empowerseries.com. learn.mmiuniversity.org. We have a free online learning program you can sign up for. Online calculators, tools, and apps, the 2 sites I love the most. If you ever want to adopt me sites, you can. Bankrate is one of them. NerdWallet is the other. Love these sites. They are filled with reputable articles, online tools, calculators, comparison tools. Love them. Check it out.
I just wanted to add real quick, right? We're talking about tools and generational wealth
Yes.
and leveraging our money.
Yes.
And I know we're saying, who do you leave it to and which one is the most responsible? I, personally, set up a trust account and then put stipulations inside the trust. So all the money goes to the trust, and the stipulations are only so much can be spent during, you ration it out over time.
Yes.
So I want people just to understand that you have insurances, provisions, you have
Yes.
trust accounts, you have different ways and tools that you can use to ensure you don't have to worry about which one is the most savvy. I already know you're going to mess it up. You're going to have to go to financial
Right.
classes for the next 2 years before you're even able to touch 10% of this money, and then so on and so forth.
So do you have an upcoming topic on this? Okay.
Did you want to say something?
I knew you did. No, I was going to ask you.
No, because what you're saying is right. No, okay, yeah, what you're saying is right. You can hear me, right? Financial literacy is knowing those tools. Part of it is money. Part of it is understanding the values that you're passing on. But also there's estate planning. And estate planning includes not just your will, but also a trust, whether it's revocable or irrevocable, family limited partnerships, and other strategies once you have the assets to protect against your children. And how many people have children? We were just having we were having dinner with my son, and he was talking to his partner about budgeting and saving. And so it's all about making sure that your values are passed on to your children, and if they aren't, that you have structured legal entities in place to protect your assets and protect your generational wealth.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process, and getting connected to organizations like Money Management International, the Empower Series, and coming to our workshops, and more importantly, staying connected. And we're going to talk about how you can stay connected from this workshop to really implement those things to protect your wealth for yourself and for your family.
And at empowerseries.com, you're going to find past workshops, and I know there's been several on estate planning and creating wealth, and there's upcoming live ones. So really, utilize these resources.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 15 years.
learn.mmiuniversity.org.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 15 years, so there's a lot of content out there. But this information is educational, and it's general, so it's nothing that's specific, tailored for you. The way you get that information is that you meet with financial professionals, you meet with attorneys, or you meet with us on a one-on-one basis so we can refer you to someone, as well as meeting with Money Management International.
So speaking of tools and support you can leverage, Clifton mentioned this earlier, but I wanted to mention it again. The conversation should not and will not end today. So we'll get together again virtually on the 10th of April, 8th of May, 11th of June, and we will not only talk about different topics, but if you choose, when you choose to engage with us in that way, you're gonna get like homework assignments, right? And so you've got that in your handout today or online that you can download. And so when you come back to this April 10th workshop, you should have already contacted MMI and done a free budget session, and you can come to this April 10th workshop with your budget and your financial action plan. And we can have a conversation about that, right? We don't have to share specifics, right? But we can talk about, so I've had this budget, and the suggestion was that I cut back in this area or utilize this resource. Wow, that's powerful. We're sharing something we didn't know before. So you're gonna get different sort of assignments and things that we'll talk about over the months. And this is my favorite part, celebration. Yay. Celebrate your wins. But celebrate your wins in a smart money way, right? So our friends, if you click this link, it's going to take you there. But it talks about smart ways to celebrate your wins. One is budget for them. Put this in your budget, right? Like, Create that budget. Celebrate meaningfully. What matters to you, right? Doesn't necessarily mean, hey, I've paid off some debt, I'm gonna go shopping. No, right? I love nature. It's like the most favorite thing of mine to do. I'm such a dork, but when I wanna congratulate myself, I will take myself to a park or a nature preserve I've never been to. I will hike and explore, and then I will find a local coffee shop in the area and get a really fancy latte. I've celebrated a success under $10, and I feel great. Because while I was hiking, I'm like, oh, I did it, right? Enjoy experiences. Involve your family and friends. You know, maybe you have a debt reduction, debt-free celebration. Watch that momentum build. Take time to reflect on who you're becoming, the changes that you're making, the things that you're doing. Make a new tradition, right? Like, I don't know, somebody give me a tradition. I've got tons of them in my house that my child and I do. It's instead of gifts, right? Like holidays, we'll do scavenger hunts. I mean, it's time. I mean, I spend hours hiding things around the house, like clues he has to find. But like, what is your new tradition? Celebrate the small stuff and share your story. So I hope you don't mind me saying this. There's a woman in here today. She's adorable. I'll let you guess who it is. And she purchased a home because of information that she learned. Share that story, because the more you do, the more people are like, really? I could do that? That's for me? Let me try. Okay, so these are the reminders of our new money mindset and what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna know what debt-free looks like. We're gonna keep that picture I lost my word. We're gonna keep that picture we conjured in our mind. We're gonna see things as opportunities, not roadblocks. We're gonna adopt a growth mindset, practice gratitude. What am I thankful for? What are my blessings? Visualize success and embrace patience and enjoy the journey. Talk to me, give me questions, give me feedback, talk to each other. What do we got? Oh, thanks.
For the mindset piece.
Yes, my girl. By the way, we haven't, so if you, I mean, we'll have time for this later, but if you haven't started to network with our group, we've got like amazing people in this room that do amazing things that they have like big gifts to share. So I'm ready. Give it to me.
I'm always going to challenge the mindset and people that's watching. But for the mindset piece, for people who, because we say a lot of very catchy words that are trending all over the place, but no one ever actually knows what the steps are to achieve that. So talking about the mindset and having a financial or better money mindset, if I don't know nothing about it, I know nothing about my money, I am like 21 years old and clueless, what steps do you recommend for somebody starting out? What are the top 3 things that somebody can start off with?
So the things we talked about today, I love that question. Build a budget. Like whatever your income and expenses are, you're 18 years old, you're probably working, maybe you're getting an allowance, whatever the case may be. Give every dollar you make a purchase. That's the first thing you can do. We will help you. It's free. The second thing you can do is look at your credit score, because your credit report and score tell a really important story about you. What is that story? And the third thing that I would say is get clear on what your goals are and how you're going to meet them, right? Work that into your plan. Those are the top 3 things that I think you can do.
Okay.
Credit score. Yeah.
So I'm going to go a little deeper.
Okay.
Because you know me.
I'm ready. I love you. We've established this.
And I'm just going to add to that. First thing is make a decision, not a choice. Make a decision, meaning you make choices every day, all day, and we talked about this before everything started. Our mind makes thousands of choices all day long. You can make a choice to change how you budget your money, but if you don't make a decision to follow your choice, meaning put action behind it, what Tara was talking about with knowledge, if you don't educate yourself, it will always stay a choice and not a decision in your life.
I love it. So you have the choice about whether or not you're going to call MMI and do a budget session. You have the choice, right? You can choose to do that budget session. You want to make a decision to change your mindset in your financial life, which means you're going to engage in that conversation. You're going to live that budget. You're going to talk about it. You're going to change the way you move. Big difference. Thank you.
The next one is you're going to make a decision every single day to either read a book, do an Audible, or go on YouTube and self-teach about the same things that Tara is talking about, because that's a mindset shift. When you're shifting your mindset, it is a perception. It's how you look at life, and you have to reprogram what you've been taught to what you want to see in your life or your future, and how to retrain how you learn, because most of us don't know how to learn. We only know how to regurgitate,
right.
not technically learn. So you have to teach yourself how to learn the money mindset. What tips do you have for them to learn it?
I can sum this all up in one word, and it's consumption. I think it's just like food, right? What we consume shows in our everyday life, and I think we are living in a time where we have big decisions to make around consumption. And that means how much time we spend engaging with others versus technology platforms. And when we are engaging with technology platforms, what are we doing that for? What are we consuming for entertainment, spiritually, financially? Like I think consumption is how I wrap it all up. And I think we have to be really, really mindful about the things that we consume.
Okay, so I'd like to add a piece to the consumption, if I may.
Please.
Because from my lived experience, I consumed a lot of knowledge and information to better myself. So this is mainly for people out there, anything you want to add to it, of course, because consumption is huge. But for me, in my lived experience, I've realized in this last year, it's become a huge part of self-worth, and am I allowed to act on this knowledge and this information? Because I can say for anybody listening online, I have consumed so much of this information, but it's only since I've been like, baby steps, like I can maybe get there. I had to start baby steps. So I just wanted to throw out for anybody online, because sometimes it's just a big piece of like, you were told no your whole life as a child.
Yeah.
And so no matter how much you consume, it doesn't matter. So
Yes.
I just wanted to throw that piece out there.
Thank you for that. I agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, I've got a worksheet question.
Okay.
So on the worksheet, it talks about the credit utilization, but I noticed the resource that you gave us on My FICO actually has a % on there. Should we just trust that one, or go ahead and just, and I guess
Is
we would
it
pull
a-
our credit report to see all the
Is it telling you
available.
your utilization?
Yeah, on
I
My
think-
FICO, it actually has a
Yeah.
credit utilization percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. I think we should use it as a benchmark.
Okay.
But I think we should also keep in mind, I think the information that we're getting from that MyFICO, I think it comes from Experian.
Yes. It says and then you can get the other two, I guess, for a fee.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but you don't, remember, you can go to annualcreditreport.com
Right,
and you
to
can get
get
them for free.
all.
So you
Okay.
want to look at the other credit reports and sort of see, because they can contain different information. But I think that's a good number to ballpark and
Okay.
start from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the debt to income ratio. That's just not credit cards. That's total debt. That's mortgage.
Oh, well,
On the
there are
worksheet.
two different numbers we could use. Typically, I think we talk about like unsecured debt.
Okay.
But unfortunately, if you want to learn more about that, you're going to have to come back. You're going to have to.
Yeah. No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, so for the homework, do we have this completed before, or are we going to do it?
Just when you come in April.
Okay.
So if you're
okay.
coming in April, whatever the two or
The
three
two are there,
tasks
we should
were,
have those done.
yes.
Okay.
And then in April, like we'll talk about how to calculate your DTI.
Oh,
and-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have something to say for people about series, yeah. So first off, before everybody has to go take care of the rest of their Saturday and the weekend, I want to thank you Tara. So give it up, some love, some energy.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my gosh. So a couple of things I want to say. So there's a method to the Empower series. Edward, who owns AE Media Group, and I are going to talk tomorrow because we are going to brainstorm around how we can get your attention more. Because we are in an attention economy. Everything's vying for your attention. And a lot of things are trying to separate you from your money, right? Like everybody's trying to separate you from your money. So you have to be intentional with how you spend your time and what you let in. So in January, we had a workshop on goal setting. In February, we had a workshop on entrepreneurship, your idea and doing a business plan. Today, we're having a workshop on credit management. So for the first quarter, it's very intentional what we're doing. We're realizing that, you make decisions every day, like on automatic pilot or choices. You all have desires. And we're influenced by a lot of stuff that we're taking in. So we are trying our best to help you be intentional about how you spend your time, because it's a scarce resource, and how you treat your ideas with better stewardship. So all of this ties together. Before we wrap, though, I do want you to readdress the fact that this is not the end. For the next 3 months, on the second Friday of April, May, and June, we're going to get together, and the goal is to complete the things that are on this workshop. There's a link in the video. You have a copy of it. We want you to take a snapshot with some financial ratios of where you are today and do certain activities that Tara's going to talk about. And then we're going to meet on the 10th of April, right? April 10th, which is Friday at noon Central Time, and I'll get you all of that information. If you registered, I have your information. If you did not register, you're looking online, I want you to either email me at thrive@empowerseries.com or click the link I put in the live chat to register, and we'll get your information. People who are watching this after the program, we are going to empower you. I'm just so excited about that. So before we wrap and say goodbye, because I know you got to go, Tara, I do want you to talk about that worksheet again and why people should come to the next 3 Zoom calls and what they'll get out of it.
okay. So that worksheet is sort of your roadmap for what's going to happen over the next few months. And I think you should come because we're talking about momentum. And we've got 3 months. If we really shift our mindset, we've got 3 months to make a big dent in our financial life and in our debt. And when we think about momentum and knowledge gained and what we can share and how we can feel and what we can take away, over the course of 3 months, you can see some measurable changes. How much have I saved? How much has my credit score changed? What is my plan? What is my budget? How am I feeling in approaching this? So that's why you should come. Yeah, yeah.
So come on, keep giving it.
Oh!
Oh my gosh. So again, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you online. Before we leave, we're going to shut down the online version, but we're not leaving the room yet. But if you're watching online, I do want to thank you again for spending your most precious resource, your time, on this program. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be a gatekeeper. Share it with someone else. Come back and look at it, because you're going to forget 70% of what you heard. Right? That's why we're recording these, and that's why we're doing the 3 group Zoom calls for the next 3 months to help you take these ideas that you've had, write them down, and act on them, because a goal not written down is not going to happen. Only 3% of the people who write down 3% of the people who have goals and they write them down are going to achieve more than the 97% who do not. So if you just say it's in your head, take the time and put it down, put it on paper, right? So I want to thank you again. Stay connected with the Empower Series. If you have any questions, you can email me at thrive@empowerseries.com. They're at noon Central Time, and they'll be recorded. I know life happens, but you've got to register if you want to get the link to the recording. So definitely, if you've registered already, I have your contact information. If you have not registered, you got to email me at thrive@empowerseries.com, and I'll get it to you. Don't let this be the end. This is just the beginning. If you want to be a part of the Empower Series by volunteering or giving your in-kind resources or donations, you can go to our website, empowerseries.com. If you want to give right now, you can also text GIVE or donate to 214-225-6337. That is 214-225-6337, or go to our website. But again, I'm so honored that you are spending your time with us. Let's go ahead and help you take that next step to achieve your goal. So thank you. Until we meet again, be empowered and inspired to thrive. Peace. I love you.
Peace, I love you. Peace, I love you.